That's good. There's a different shape with your iron, isn't it?
Tend to baby draw.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, unless I'm playing a...
Little fade with the drivers that we hit, and then you're hitting baby draw with your iron.
Mm.
Okay. Like that, and it's a nice shot. I mean, that is very playable.
Yeah. Felt nice and...
Okay, really interesting. Not the norm by a long ways. Quite, you are unique in what you bring.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Thank you.
In coaching, you see so many patterns.
Yeah.
And you're not falling into many of the patterns. You fall into one, but it's a real fringe pattern. It's interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to find this interesting, and I think you will as well. So we start with your driver, because you were warm when you came in and you said it was your worst club.
Yep.
Your driver average numbers, you're swinging 2 out, 2 in.
Yeah.
Happy with that term?
Yes.
Club path moving 2 left as you hit the ball.
Absolutely.
Face is averaging 3.5 open to that 2.
Hence the fade.
Yeah, and what's that face to 0? So this is club face to path. So your path, let's say 2 left.
Yes, that's open to...
Open to 0 by what? Let's call that 2 and let's call that 3.5.
1 and a bit.
Yeah, so you get the numbers.
Yeah.
So in theory, your ball's going to start slightly right and then keep going, is the theory.
Indeed it does.
Okay. And you get the odd big one. You're 3 left with a face 7 open to a path.
Yeah.
And you get really good functional ones. You swing 2 left with the face 1 open to the path.
Yeah.
1 left, face 1 open to the path. It's going to be relatively, such small numbers, it's going to be relatively functional. So there's lots of good shots in there as well as a few leaks.
Mm-hmm.
You complain of going left and right though.
Yeah, probably more when I'm trying to overcorrect. So if I've hit a high right, the next one invariably goes ducker. But then, like I said, I often hit them right high up, like proper edge of the toe, and I just get all...
Yeah, so the interesting thing with your driver is those strikes are what are completely ruining the numbers.
Okay.
So where the numbers can be relatively small and calm, and I could hit those numbers, and if you kept hitting an area of the face, I would hit a lot of fairways.
Mm-hmm.
You get the odd wild one, and it is very much to do with strike and almost less to do with numbers. You deliver the club pretty good.
Okay.
And because your strike gets so far off on the odd one, and there's definitely a pattern towards the heel here, which is what we're going to have a play with to start. It's very hard to look at what the numbers are really doing,
Because my strike's so bad.
because your strike can get so far away from where it needs to be. So sometimes your bad shot is because you deliver the centre of gravity of the club, which people call the sweet spot, not in line with the centre of gravity of the ball. So it's not that you're not aligning the numbers, so the path and the face well, you are.
Yeah.
They're all kind of lined up okay-ish.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're hitting my finger here, you're aligning them heel side of it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it totally does, and it's the one thing you can feel on the course. So the ones that are okay, club centre-ish, feel okay and don't go too far offline. The ones the heel ones, that go 60, 70 yards from the target.
Yeah, because you've got lots of speed.
Yeah.
So lots of speed hit that far wrong.
But if you can hit it at a decent distance and not very straight, you get yourself in a whole world of trouble.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you play PGA Tour, where they don't seem to ever go in any trouble when they hit it miles. Just go into the spectators. But yeah, you're going to hit fade. You mentioned that you wouldn't mind hitting baby draw. We might come back to that. I would like you to be able to hit both, because I think you're good enough.
I hit both with my irons and can generally control it.
Iron numbers, interesting. You don't see this often. Iron numbers 2 from the inside and the face too close to that path. Baby draws all day long. Again, the only thing with the iron, and you said you get a little anxious in lessons, which I understand, is your strike was not as good as I reckon you can normally strike it. So we can work that into the fact that
general course play, I wouldn't complain about my irons. It gets me around and I can score okay with them.
But so we can reassess the iron. Definitely, I want to play with the driver. I want to see what we can do with the driver. Have you ever worked on strike?
Never on strike, no.
See, I always think that's a really interesting question, and you answer that the same as everyone. Any good teacher will tell you that you work from strike out, really.
Yeah.
Strike is king and all those kind of cliches, which is all true. And 90% of people probably hired have never worked on strike. That's quite an amazing...
We've got GC2s at our club, that's what they coach with, but not
HMT, well then, yeah, you're looking at ball.
Yeah.
Got to look at...
So interested to see my strike for years, having watched your videos and
Yeah.
You know, fully believe what you say about how strike is the most important thing. And I've never understood my own strike patterns.
Yeah. We're going to see if we can move that into a different place and then see what happens to the delivery and the consistency or not of shots. So I'm not saying if we move this more towards the toe.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it here more. You're going to be better. I don't know if you'll be better yet or not, because I don't know how good you'll be at it.
Okay.
But we need to play with... You can't be striking it there, applying the numbers you apply.
They hurt as well.
Yeah,
the wrist didn't really don't hit in the heel, do you?
They can sting on the wrong days. I'm excited by this. This is an interesting one. Be interesting to see if we can move it or not. Let's have a play. So we're going to have another go. I want you to hit some shots, and I want you to try and hit with a toe. It's a long way to come to be told to try and hit out the toe, isn't it? My best lesson, I had a guy travel 4 something hours to a lesson, he hit his driver low.
Yeah.
He was off 4. He's probably watching this because he watches the videos. And he had been like, for fancy custom fits, he had shafts worth £500 because he was talking about ball flow. And he did it low. And I said to him, have you ever tried hitting it higher? And he laughed. I said, no, go on, try it on a higher. 2-hour lesson he had booked. And he hit a higher straight away.
Yeah.
And like they were longer and the spin cat, he just hit it better. And I said, you've travelled 4 hours, and I just said, try it higher. he tweets sometimes, go hashtag ever tried to hit it higher, because even he found it funny. So I want you to hit out the toe. How are you going to try and hit out the toe? Don't start too much out the toe. You can start a little bit out the toe.
Okay, so you don't want it
I want you to try and deliver your CG, so your club, your hands slightly closer to you.
Yeah.
Just feel like you're swinging on the inside of the ball. Try and hit with the toe. Yeah. You ever tried doing that? Okay, let's see what happens. Good shot. Okay, and again. You're not bad. Yeah, no, you can see the red one there. Red's last shot. Okay. Low and a fraction heely, 6mm here. So you didn't deliver the CG as close to you as you could on that one. First one was better. Was that high right? Was that off the top of the club? Yeah, just off the top, but it was on the toe side.
Okay.
Okay, and again. To the right, off to the right, definitely off the toe. Okay, one more. It's good, high, drawing back to just right at the tie, do you see it? Okay, come and look. So yeah, you move your strike. Golfers, certainly 10 handicappers like you, 11 wasn't it?
Yeah.
And sporting, like you've already said, and you can tell you can move just by looking at you, you're fit and you can move your body in the club athletically. Golfers for so long seem to want to practice swing. And it's our fault as well as coaches. I mean, I haven't for years, but I used to teach, you know, you got to hit this position and that kind of stuff. And you forget to actually play. Like, to suggest that you've never practiced strike, but you've just... I mean, that wasn't hard, was it? Watch this. Just watch this, look.
Okay.
This is really... Your club pass now, 2.9 from the inside.
How did you do that?
How did you do that? Because your definition of club path in your head isn't exactly a true. That's why I measure.
Yeah.
Because if we deal in your feelings only, we just go around in circles for hours trying to guess the right feeling for you. We get some facts, and then we talk in feeling terms, and we check if those feelings can be quantified as success or not. It's such a simple way to teach. And what's so interesting is so many people get the tech wrong. I say this so often. This is not out. That is the most untechnical lesson you've probably ever had, using the most tech you've ever seen, from body track down there to GC2 with HMT. And all I said is, why don't you try not in and out of here? I made you change your path.
Yeah.
Your face actually started to close to the path on some of them. You had one where you got the face 3 open to a 3 inside path, which is where you blocked it. So if your face control, we can give you another thought, maybe just to change face control if we need to. Okay. But you started to hit baby draws with those. This is a 3-hour lesson. We are 37 minutes in, and I spent 15 minutes chatting to you and dotting your club up and making sure I knew what we're doing.
It's bonkers.
It makes me giggle.
Yeah.
It's like hilarious.
But as a sportsman though, like you said, I do generally understand how to control my body, because
you can see that.
I've not been taught many things. I just watch.
You can do it. You can see and interpret, and you kind of get it.
See my single-handed backhand. It's
good, is it?
It's fed like.
I'm double-handed. I used to be single-handed, but went double. Didn't have the power.
Yeah.
My same story in every sport I play. Looks pretty, not hard enough.
It's a kind of watch and repeat.
Yeah. That's why I gave you that instruction. I'd give it to her, but because it's so obvious that you can hit that bit.
Okay.
If someone just tells you to. It's amazing. How many times have you been on a range and tried getting into a certain position? You probably have tried.
I've done the bottle thing, so I've had a bottle there and one there and swung inside it.
I hate that one. Do you know why?
I got my path right, but my strike.
Well, people say that the head covers and bottles out to the right of the club. I used to use it. All people do is they change the dynamic lie to miss the bottles.
Oh, okay.
So what they start doing is they start if they're coming in, say here, out to in.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this. There we go. If they're coming in here, out to in, what they do is they start doing this to miss the bottles, but still come across it.
Right.
So what they actually do, they don't change path, they just change this angle to try and miss the outside stuff. I see that so often. I used to use that drill, and I used to watch people not really improve, and I could never work out why until I started measuring people. When I measure, you can see them just changing the lie to miss the things on the outside. It's crazy. But it's instinct for them to hit from the direction they want to hit from. So we asked you to align the centre of gravity of the club to the ball differently, and you swing from a different path. The only question now is, can we make sure the face sinks to a path a little bit more constructively so they don't stay out to the right?
Yeah.
That was so easy.
So keep doing.
And so what we get now is, your club path is now in line a bit more with your iron. If we go back to your iron, you did have the odd heel.
Yeah.
But you were able to align the CG quite constructively. So there's lots of dimension to club path, which people get confused with. It doesn't help. I see lessons where people the amount of lessons I see who so club path for people is the direction the club is travelling on as it hits the ball, out to in and into out and straight. Okay. But there's also, I can swing straight here, and I can swing straight here, and I can do it millimetres either side as well, that's got to be club path also. But where's the measurement for that? Where's the measurement for CG path alignment to the CG of the ball alignment? There's CG path alignment, but not in relationship to ball, unless you measure where you hit it on the face.
Yep.
So my CG alignment to ball CG, I know the ball's kind of around here. So these ones, you could be swinging zero path, but moving the centre of gravity on the inside of the outside of the ball for that. But there's no measurement for that, as in these machines should start, I think, they do, you have to work it out from this one. Lots of machines don't have this measurement.
No.
They don't see face. But you guys and lots of people are only talking club path as if we all align the club paths. We all align the CG, but we all align it across into out or out to in. Absolutely not. Lots of people don't align the CG of the club, the sweet spot to the ball, and they can't control path either. So that's 2 lessons. That's not 1 lesson. That's 2 lessons.
Yeah.
It's interesting we fixed your path.
Yeah.
By just getting you to align the CG. That's just brilliant.
I didn't really expect it to change. I thought we were just going to hit baby fades out the middle of the club.
It's so interesting since measuring the amount of people that I get to change path without ever talking to them about path. And you'll see it a lot in these live lessons. I don't tell them to change path. I tell them to maybe move their pressure across, so just move where their low point is a bit or whatever. And path changes. I've practiced for years trying to move path. That's because you've practiced trying to swing more around your body, which doesn't change path at all, and all trying to swing more up. They don't change path at all for lots of people. It's not until you measure that you realise how easy it is to change some people's paths. It's interesting. But let's do some more. That's the honeymoon period. Let's see if it carries on. So I'm just going to create another. Oh no, we'll keep that data sheet going actually. Let's see if that one continues, because that's a nice little pattern of strikes. Let's keep them all in this section of the face. And then if face control doesn't fall into place, we'll give you another thought for face control. What are we going to do for the other 2 hours?
I like chatting to you, so that's fine.
Yeah. We can talk tennis.
Yeah.
Go.
I've got a tennis racket with me.
Yeah, I've got one in the boot as well. Where do you strike that, do you think?
Certainly low.
Heel or toe?
I guess a heel.
Just low.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing, and I find that with tour players as well. I've taught, some very good players, and we talk about strike.
Yep.
When they go low and high on the face, they can't distinguish toe or heel.
Right.
It all blends.
Yeah.
And when I first tested the machine, when they demoed it to me, I was hitting some on a part of the face that I thought was the toe, but it was high. Yeah. And they were saying, oh, that's 8mm toe. And so they were saying that was centre but high. I was thinking, there's no way that felt toey to me. And for years I'd have said that's toey. And then we marked the face to check it, and it was spot on every time.
I chatted to you before on Twitter actually about how this has changed your teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's made me just love teaching again, because I can quantify A, charging the money I do, and B, telling them the things that I tell them. Yeah. There's no discussions anymore. Yeah. People have discussions on social media because it's hard to prove things over, certainly for me, over written thing, because I'm rubbish writing. But when you measure, there's no discussion. It's just there. It's obvious. It's so simple. It absolutely changed many ways of I think about golf. It's just a little draw, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit low again.
Low but toey. Hitting 2 from the inside. Face was on that one 0.5 close to 2 inside path, slightly toey hit, 12 degrees draw spin axis.
It's not even a conscious thought, any of that.
No, it's absolutely. Good players react to CG delivery. Have you seen my effective sweet spot video? Yeah. We all, as semi-good players, and we could play in our times, the 4 pros that did it, 3 of the other guys, one of them, Steve, I'd already had the discussion with because it happened on a course, and like kind of clicked to me how we move it, because we were trying to hit massive slice drives, and I ripped mine, and it left a mark on my club, and it was way out the heel, and I thought, well, hang on, I felt like I ripped that. Yeah. It's because we were cutting it so much. Face was so open to a path. The effective sweet spot was actually where I hit it.
So it still felt stable.
It felt brilliant, but the mark was way out the heel, and I thought, well, I'm doing that without thinking about it. So we tested with 4 players, and we all hunted the centre of gravity. We all, when we had the face open to the path, we all moved it towards the heel and called it a good strike. Yeah. And then when we hit draws, we all moved it towards the toe and called it a good strike. We were not, 3 of them couldn't, or 2 of them couldn't articulate what they were doing. Yeah. But they were hunting. When I filmed with Callaway, Doc Hock said in one of the videos, you get CG tracers. I thought, yeah, you absolutely do. People, better sports people often can trace where the good spot is. You weren't until I told you to. You were just whacking them out the heel and thinking maybe my backswing's inside or maybe it's out. So maybe
that's completely different.
Look at it. It's ridiculous.
First axis, isn't it?
That's your first lot. I said to you, have you ever tried not hitting them out the heel, basically? And you went, yeah, okay. I get paid for this.
Yeah, rightly so.
Go on, and another. You're IT consultant, aren't you? Have you ever tried turning it off and on again? It's almost like that, isn't it?
I don't do that sort of IT. But
Okay, you know what I'm saying.
no, exactly.
Go on, then. It's good. It's drawing onto the left side, maybe left semi. High draw, high drawy toe strike. Go on, one more.
Yeah.
Where'd you strike that?
Felt the middle, to be honest.
4mm heel. So what happened? You swung 1 into out with a face 3 open to the path, which is why it's going to go to the right. But if you hit it at the heel, that part of the face is not as right as that.
Because the
Roll and bulge. My machine sees a straight line between those dots.
Okay.
So then what happens is you have to work the strike in a bit into this number, which is why it didn't start. It only started 1 right, even though your face was more right than that.
Yep.
So and then you got a little bit of gearing as well. So the strike made it start further left than it should, and then the gear effect made it just kind of curve a bit more to the right.
Okay.
To be honest with you, that isn't the worst drive in the world. I reckon you would find that, but again, I don't want you to get out the heel.
No.
I don't want you to stand there and go position police on me. I want you to think I healed that.
I feel like I let you down with that.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, that's totally different. Look at your numbers now. You're averaging 2 from the inside, face 1 open to that path with quite a few minuses, with a toe, averaging toe 9mm. That's an average where you're averaging heel 16mm when you walked in. And we've moved your path and faced the path basically with a different way of aligning the centre of gravity.
So my average impact has moved 2 centimetres across the face.
It was 16mm heel.
Yeah.
It's now averaging 9mm toe.
3.5 across.
So we've changed club path by changing CG alignment to the ball CG alignment. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
They felt good.
Yeah, yeah.
Feel nice.
Let's do some more. Yeah, it's a really good drive. High draw onto target, really. 1mm toe, 2 from in to out.
Felt nice.
It's good. I mean, look at the strike pattern now.
Yeah.
So 2 forts, you've got 2 forts. You've got to practice aligning the CG with the ball, which you're skilled enough to do if you're just instructed, around some captured facts. So if you start trying to hit out the toe, which is basically what you've done, and you start getting them too far out the toe, you have permission to try and hit more in the middle. So if you tell me to try and hit it out of the toe, I hit it out of the toe, and if you tell me to hit it out of the heel, I hit it out of the heel. So I don't use that fort. I just try and hit it somewhere I want to, which is, I don't have to think about it. I line it up. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Where for you needed to be told. It won't be long, I think, before you'll just do it.
Yeah.
You'll think, I healed that one, and you'll then make an adjustment on the next swing and get back in sync. It's basically kind of telling you, look, just work your strike in. That's kind of all I've said, really. And then the other thing we do to try and control the the face to the path, is what you're trying to feel with your delivery. That the head overtakes, because you were just slightly handle draggy, basically. The other thing that worked really well for you as well was aiming down the right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That made you flick harder, so when you wanted to hit a big draw, so you were never going to go right, you said you had out bounds down the right.
Yes.
What did you do? Go and tell me.
Just alignment with feet and shoulders.
So you aimed
to the right.
Cross my machine.
Absolutely.
And then you worked hard on trying to make sure you overtook the club at the bottom, overtook your hands in feeling, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you started to hit some really big draws.
I did.
If you look at your numbers now, path 1 into out, face averaging 1 open to that path, so very neutral numbers. 5mm toe average strike. If we look at that on the club, that's like, I don't know how many shots that is. It was 20 or 30 shots, that is. When you walked in, that was your strike.
Yeah.
And you were probably thinking quite heavily about path or face, those kind of traditional things. And when you walked in, you would two across with a face 3 open to path. We have not talked about your path at all today.
No, it's just
aligning that centre of gravity to the ball. It's really good. That is a massive, massive difference. And like I said at the start, a very simple way and a very kind of organic gaming way, rather than standing there in wind and rain and thinking about trying to hit a certain position. I remember as a kid, very position based, because coaching was I used to play as a kid, and I'd go and have a lesson and, like, you know, got to hit this position. I'd practice for hours in nets trying to hit position, and then I'd go and play in North Devon, which gets windy, great courses, but they're links and it gets brutal. Standing on the first tee, I could barely stand up. I spent 3 weeks practicing in position. How can I hit a position when the wind's buffeting me 2 inches? I used to be so upset. I used to think, what a waste. I've just spent all that time and I'd be better off just standing here with the ball near my right foot and pumping it into the ground, which is kind of what you end up doing on links courses. It never occurred to me quick enough to think maybe this position-based stuff I'm doing is pointless unless it's a perfectly still day on a perfectly flat lie. It's really good. Totally different shaped shots through aligning that CG. It's good. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more videos. Find me on Instagram at Crossfield Mark, also on Twitter at 4golfonline. Find me on Facebook, Mark Crossfield. Thanks for watching. Post comments as always, and see you soon.